All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to crack open a professional soccer analyst's playbook. We're going to see the exact method they use to break down a super busy day of matches and find the hidden gems.
You know the feeling, right? You look at the schedule, and there are games happening all over Europe. England, Italy, Spain, France, all at the same time. It can feel like total chaos. But the pros, well, they have a system for cutting right through all that noise.
And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to follow their process step by step and see how they tune out the distractions and lock onto the real signals. This isn't about lucky guesses. It's about having a clear, repeatable strategy.
Okay, first things first. An analyst always starts by identifying what they call bankers. Now, you can think of these as the absolute cornerstones of their strategy for the day. These are the picks they have the most confidence in, the ones that everything else is built on.
And we're not just talking about picking a slight favorite here. No, this level of confidence comes from finding those rare situations where multiple, powerful factors all point in the exact same direction. It's almost overwhelming evidence.
So, our first banker takes us to the Premier League for a massive clash at the Emirates Stadium, Arsenal versus Liverpool. It's a classic matchup for sure, but the analysis here points to a very clear favorite.
The logic really boils down to three key things. One, Arsenal are an absolute fortress at home. They're unbeaten with 9 wins and just 1 draw. 2, they've got a settled team that's riding a wave of momentum. But, the real kicker is on Liverpool's side. They are missing their main man, their biggest goal threat, Mo Salah, who's away at the Africa Cup of Nations. That one absence completely changes the entire dynamic of this game.
So, all that evidence leads the analyst to a really straightforward conclusion. With that massive home advantage against a seriously weakened opponent, the pick is a simple, full-time win for Arsenal.
Now, let's look at our next banker, because we're about to shift gears completely. We're going from a game that's all about attacking strength to one that's defined by, well, the exact opposite.
We're heading over to Italy's Serie A for a really high-stakes game between Cremonese and Cagliari. Now, this isn't going to be the most glamorous game of the weekend, but for an analyst, it presents a crystal-clear opportunity.
And here it is, the one piece of data that tells you almost everything you need to know. Cremonese have not scored a single goal in their last 4 matches. 0. That is a gigantic red flag if you're expecting any kind of open, attacking game.
So the logic here is pretty simple, right? You've got 2 teams who are really struggling to score. Both coaches are going to set up their teams to be cautious, defense first, because the stakes are just so high. Neither side can afford to lose this game, which means neither is likely to take any big chances going forward.
Because of all that, the second banker isn't about picking a winner at all. It's about predicting the type of game we're going to see. The pick is for under 2.5 goals, which is just a bet that the total number of goals scored by both teams will be 2 or even fewer.
All right, next up, the analyst moves on to a category they call strong value. These are still picks they feel really good about, but the focus here is on finding powerhouse clubs in situations where you can get favorable odds. It's all about leveraging reliability.
And our first example is AC Milan playing at home against Genoa. Now, on the surface, this looks like a pretty standard home win. But when you dig into the data just a little bit, the case becomes even more compelling.
And here's that crucial piece of data. Genoa's form on the road. They have let in at least 1 goal in their last 12 straight away games. That is a consistent pattern of defensive weakness that you just can't ignore, especially when they're about to face an AC Milan team that's getting its key attackers back from injury.
So, you put it together. Milan's returning firepower, plus Genoa's obvious defensive problems on the road, and the pick becomes a really logical and strong value play, AC Milan to win the game. For our last value pick, we're off to France for a cup final, the Trophée des Champions, which pits PSG against their rivals Marseille. A big rivalry with a trophy on the line, that context is super important. In this match, the historical context tells you just about everything. This one stat says it all. PSG have won this specific trophy 11 of the last 12 times it's been played. I mean, they basically own this competition. So when you combine that unbelievable history with the fact that Marseille happens to be missing some of their key defensive players, the analysis once again points firmly in one direction. The pick is for PSG to lift the trophy yet again. Now we're going to look at a totally different type of analysis. See, sometimes the strongest prediction you can make isn't about who is going to win, but how the game itself is going to be played. It's all about reading the tactical flow. And honestly,
There is no better example of this than the Madrid Derby in the Spanish Super Cup. Atletico versus Real Madrid. Two absolute giants. But the pick here has nothing to do with who wins. It's all about the action.
The focus is on a market called over 2.5 goals. And, just so we're all on the same page, that's simply a bet that there will be a total of 3 or more goals scored in the entire match by both teams combined.
So, why this pick? Well, first, just look at their recent history. It's packed with goals. Their last matchup was an insane 5-2 thriller. Second, playing at a neutral stadium often leads to more open attacking soccer. And finally, just look at the squads. Both sides are absolutely loaded with world-class attacking players.
You add all those factors up, and you get a really compelling case for an open, entertaining, and high-scoring affair. So the analyst's pick is simple: over 2.5 goals.
Okay, so we've looked at all the individual picks. Now let's pull back and see how an analyst actually assembles them into a single, cohesive game plan for the entire day. This is how it all fits together. You see, it's not just 4 random picks, it's a balanced portfolio. The Arsenal and Cremonese bets are the bankers. They're the solid foundation. The PSG pick offers that strong value. And then the Madrid Derby game is used as a cover bet, a different kind of pick that can balance out the others. It's a completely structured and strategic approach.
And really, when you boil this whole thing down, the entire process we just walked through rests on these 3 core principles. Number 1, always assess home dominance. Number 2, always check squad availability. Who's playing and who's not is crucial. And number 3, understand the context of the match. Is it a cup final, a heated rivalry, a relegation scrap? All of that matters.
So the analyst's playbook gives us a really clear map, one that's based on solid data and logic. But it also leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to think about. After all the analysis is done, what role is left for those unpredictable, intangible moments of pure luck, passion, and individual brilliance that make soccer the beautiful game?